get through all the curveballs.
Yeah,
Most of your career here.
I guess it was just a perfect storm of.
Were they sick?
So Randy was traveling. Emily and Kim.
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Portage Public Schools Board of Education to order. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to welcome everybody and explain why we only have a limited number of people at the dais tonight. We had several people who planned to be out of town, and then we had several last-minute call-ins from trustees. So we do not have a quorum. So we have just talked to our attorney to confirm that we can still have this meeting, but we cannot conduct any action tonight. So we will have an information meeting. We'll hear from the superintendent and his report. We will hear public comment, and we will hear a discussion item. So welcome, everybody. Let's begin our unique meeting. So we have, under reports, we have the superintendent's report. Mr. Superintendent.
All right. Thank you, Vice President Snyder, as well as members of the Board of Education and those who are joining us today. We have our superintendent's report first. We're going to have Russ Gerbers. He's going to kick off, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations. He's going to kick off a bond project update, followed by a financial update by Paula Johnson, and then I'll conclude with the superintendent's 90-day presentation.
Good evening, Board. Superintendent Edwards. I'm happy to bring to you a special bond presentation tonight. It's a little more exciting than most of them because we get to talk about the results of our election, November 4th election, which was quite successful for the district. We had a 63 to 37% yes vote on that election, which in the world of school bonds, that's a landslide. It's hard to get much better than that just with the way the elections go, but a 63-37, we're super excited about that. And then when you look, we had 5,700 or 5,842 more votes than the 2021 election, the bond election. And usually when you get that many more votes, you start seeing that percentage passing go down, but ours stayed the same. I'll give you an example. 5,842 votes was more votes than voted yes in 2021. So it's a 67% increase in voter turnout, and we still had a very positive election result. So very happy about that. If you look across the state, 31 of the 48 schools that had bonds passed, which is a 64.6% pass rate, which over the last two elections, it went up about a 10%. Back before COVID, bond elections were pretty positive, like 80 to 85%. They kind of dipped after COVID, but they're on the rise again now. So 64.6, we're happy to see that across the state. If you compare the other bonds, we were the 5th highest percent passing of the 31. So I believe there was 4 higher than us. And then for cost-wise, ours was the 7th largest amount of bond. So pretty good statistics. Very happy with the outcome. Very happy with very supportive community of Portage. Just a big thank you to everyone involved in the bond, the board, for pushing it forward and talking positively in the community. All the people that work for our partners, Feeling International, Tower Pinkster, and OAK, and then for the community just for improving it as we move forward. If you look at the history of Portage, our tagline for this was finish the job. And I would say this goes well beyond just finish the job of the elementary schools. If you look at Portage's bond over the last couple of years, going back to 2007, we renovated the high school of Northern. We built a new Central High School. We built a new 12th Street Elementary and a new Lake Center Elementary. And that was the 07 bond. And then in 15, we built Northern Middle, Central Middle, and we renovated West Middle School, as well as hitting a slew of different athletic complexes and new football stadiums, both for Central and Northern, soccer fields for Central and Northern, and auditoriums for both Central and Northern. That was from the 2015 bond. And we get to the 2021 bond, the one we're working on currently. We just opened up Central Elementary and Haverhill Elementary. And in 2027, we're going to be opening up Woodland Elementary. So when we talk about finishing the job, we have a few more elementaries to go, as well as some of our ancillary buildings for early childhood and community ed. So I'm happy to announce that we are currently working on the design for Amberley Elementary. So our next elementary is going to be Amberley. The goal is to open that in 2028, followed by opening up Angling Road in 2029. The order of these, in terms of which one came first, was largely in terms of how we could construct them. We can build Amberley on the site, so we don't have to wait for Woodland to move out of the current, the old Haverhill building. So that's why Amberley is going forth, and then Angling Road is going back. And then we also have some additional projects you'll see. You'll see us looking at how we're addressing the early childhood building, as well as the community high building. Both those are housed in a 70-year-old building, so we'll be addressing that. And then we'll be looking at renovating Morris Bridge Elementary School as well. So all that to be said is, finishing the job wasn't just finishing the elementary job, it's finishing the job for the district. We will have touched every building in the district from 2007 to when this bond is done. Will either be renovated or rebuilt. For a 100-year-old district, that's quite impressive to do that over the course of a little over 20 years. So Portage community should be very proud with what they've accomplished so far, as well as what we will accomplish by the time this bond is done in probably 2030-ish, depending on how long it takes to get all these buildings done. That's quite an accomplishment. Very proud to be here and very proud to work on that. So that's kind of the bond, like the update in terms of how this bond's going. I'm going to bring Frito Lane International, Tower Pinkster, and OAK to come up and talk about Amberley Elementary and how that design process has started. So you guys want to come on up?
Alrighty. Good evening, Board and Superintendent Edwards. Thanks for having us here today. I'm Mike. I'm with Frito Lane International.
I'm Carissa Benjamin, and I'm with Tower Pinkster.
Doug Milburn with Tower Pinkster.
Tom Stanek with OAK.
So we're excited to revisit with you the process we've been moving forward in these elementary school projects and this the previous bond, what we're bringing forward into this next bond. So when we began our work together many years ago, we established a set of guiding principles for Portage that were the centerpiece of decision-making for these new facilities. And we are returning to those same guiding principles to guide the decision-making for both Amberley and Angling Road. And those guiding principles are listed on the board. And you'll see reflected in that things like not only developing elements of the buildings to facilitate the ideas of leadership and achievement and citizenship, but also focusing on minimizing disruption to student learning and providing safe and secure campuses. So these continue to be priorities for these projects. We've also had opportunities, not only when we originally started our work with the district after the 2019 bond, when we were able to meet with all of the elementary school communities and your building leaders, but also over the course of the past few years, revisiting with staff members and some folks at Amberley to establish what we believe to be the drivers of the Amberley project. And so these are some of the elements that emerged from specifically that community. Elements to make the school feel small and easy to navigate, making sure that student supports are even more integrated than they have been in the past, ensuring spaces that support collaboration are embedded in the environment, and things that make teaching and learning easier, like storage and other amenities. And so these are the specific drivers we'll be using for the Amberley project moving forward. We have, as I mentioned, been able to meet with students and staff in a variety of ways to collect feedback about the Amberley project in the past several years. And we were able to work with that feedback and Tower Pinkster's design team to create a design statement for this opportunity. Now, there's a lot of text on this screen. Please don't feel like you have to read it all. But the big idea is about forging a new path. And Krista, do you want to explain a couple of the key elements of the design statement for this building?
Yeah, so Forging a Path came from our staff at Amberley, and it was about how to get kids to feel like they have some thought into how they can move through the building. So we have lots of spaces, core spaces, just like you saw at Haverhill and Central. So natural gathering places, that would be the cafeteria, the heart, those types of places. And then the concept encourages learners to navigate challenges, discover new possibilities, and build confidence in their own steps.
And so, reflecting some of those elements, these are diagrams essentially of the early concepts for the Amberley building. And you'll see, again, as Carissa mentioned, similar patterns to what have already been constructed in Central and Haverhill Elementary, but also in Woodland. The building will be divided into learning communities that support grade levels. And so you'll see these yellow blocks are 6 learning communities. And then you see educator workspaces and student support environments, largely in the green blocks distributed near those learning communities. And then in orange, you'll see those specialty environments, the gymnasium, music room, art room, and library, more centrally located in the building. And what Carissa mentioned, a heart, that kind of red space in the middle, really a organizing circulation path, but also a place for large gatherings. And so those are all the different types of environments that students will be able to navigate through as they go through their journey or this path through their elementary experience. This is a detailed design that starts to show a more, I guess, refined plan. And so this is essentially an early schematic design for the facility. And so we've been able to develop the plan up to this level. And we continue to look forward to have more engagements with the staff to refine the elements of Amberley into a more final product. And this is a kind of a three-dimensional axon view where you can see that community heart right at the center of the building, navigation, but also a gathering space. And so all of the same elements of Central and Haverhill focused on collaborative teaching and learning, helping students feel like they belong and connect to this, to their school and to the staff and other students in the school will continue forward. There will be a second floor to this building, just like in Haverhill and Central, and so you'll see 3 more learning communities distributed on that second floor. And then again, kind of a 3-dimensional kind of outline of that building to see how it's starting to take shape as a full building. And with that, I'll pass it to Doug.
So we have a very preliminary exterior rendering showcasing kind of what the building could look like, similar to Central, Haverhill, and Woodland. Take input not only from our engagement opportunities with the staff, but also the context of each neighborhood. Each of the 2 buildings that have opened, and then Woodland also have their own kind of vibe, their own feel that corresponds to that school's culture as well as the surrounding neighborhoods. So we're aiming to do the same with a similar palette of materials. Colors themselves may vary to respond to the existing neighborhood and adjacent neighborhood. But as Tom will speak to costs, trying to continue tracking costs that are in budget and recognizing the materials that we've used at the previous 3 are helping us do that. So obviously we'll continue to do the same with the upcoming Amberley design.
And I'll add, finally, we're excited to also begin the process to get to this level of design with the angling community now that the bond is passed. And so we'll look forward to initiating or building on the work that we've been able to do previously with that community as well, and look forward to creating a building that really reflects that unique community in the same way that Amberley will reflect its unique community.
Yeah, and I think maybe just one other point of information. So while we have had the engagements with Amberley, we also did with Angling Road and Morrisbridge starting back in the spring as the momentum was building towards this bond vote. Wanted to engage all 3 communities that remained as projects on the books and get them excited, hopefully get the overall community excited, which it appears the community was for the bond vote. And so like Mike said, we're excited to get started on Angling Road and all the other projects that Russ shared. I think there's less side of our content, but we take any questions before we flip to Tom.
Yeah, so is there any questions for Field International or Tower Pacer?
I'm just curious, I'm assuming that the teachers at Amberley and Angling are talking to the folks at Central and Haverhill, and you guys are kind of taking all that feedback about what's working, what's not working, and...
Yeah, they both I think Morrisbridge too, but Amberley and Angling Road teaching staff had the opportunity to tour Central and Haverhill on different occasions. Certainly took any feedback, and they're starting to use their own internal feedback to then help inform information we receive at the engagement sessions with them.
We also had a walkthrough just recently with the building principals at each site, and they walked us through what was working really well in their building and what were some things that could be tweaked. So we have gone back to the principals and got that feedback from them of what they really like. And like they said, 99% of this building is amazing. Here's some things we would tweak. So that's good to hear.
It's sure great to have all these buildings going on, and you can learn from each one as you're doing it, and so it might not be a bad idea to be the last one on the list.
The principal said they actually felt bad because we spent a full 2 hours with them, really nitpicking everything that wasn't perfect. It's like, it feels like we're just complaining. It's like, no, we want to make sure we get it right. And so, spending that time is really helpful in ensuring that each subsequent building is even better than the first.
And then also, prior to Russ's arrival, as we were making corrections to Central and Haverhill, or learning lessons, we were applying those to the Woodland design now. So, we actually started some of this work a couple of years ago as we learned things during construction.
And the nice thing is keeping all this momentum going with the design of Amberley and everything. We want to keep the process moving because obviously the longer you take to do stuff, you got inflation costs and everything going in. That's why I'm going to have Tom come up and kind of talk about the cost of Amberley now, just so you guys get your heads wrapped around what this is looking at as we go.
So as the team has worked through from a design standpoint, we call this the schematic design budget. It's really one of those first checks and balances. And speaking of lessons learned and things, we have some cost basis from the previous 3 schools that we've completed now and are in the process of Woodland. So this is based on 80,000, just under 80,000 square feet, just very similar to Central size building. We are just at under $48 million for the project, so happy to report that it's very comparable to the other projects that we've done. And the way we've done that is we've taken the costs for Central, Haverhill, and Woodland and escalated those to 26, basically when Amberley is going to be going out. And so happy to report that the square footage number that you see there is really only about $3 difference from a square foot standpoint. So when you take into consideration escalation costs and stuff, it's really right there. So when they're talking about those lessons and learns, they've been applied to this this next project for Amberley. So happy to report that. So if there's any questions regarding that, we'll come back and when we do the ED phase there and again do another checks and balances. But we work closely with these guys as they're kind of developing the design standpoint and always questioning whether we should do this or that or should we look at another product, for example, from a cost perspective. So we're constantly in communication with that. So I think this is reflective of that.
Super.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you guys. If there's any questions you guys have, I'm more than open to taking them right now.
So, Russ, could I ask a big picture question?
Yes.
Could you just go back through the key dates with us? So I know it started up to now. We've got 2 finished.
Yep, 2 finished.
We've got Haverhill and Central all are finished.
Yep.
We just started Woodland,
Yep.
and that's going to be a 2-year process.
Yep. So, go ahead.
Yep. And then our next start will be Amberley,
Yep.
and that will start when? Remind us?
That's a great question. The goal is to start some general site preparation in April.
All right. Right. So that will be starting in '26,
Yes, April 2026.
which means it will open in '28.
Yeah, so we're going to open one in 27 at Woodland. We'll open Amberley in 28 and Angling Road in 29.
Okay, so angling starts in '27
Yes.
and will finish in '29.
Yep.
So including the building we just started, it's going to be 1 a year.
Yeah. It's
Right?
gonna.
So it's going to be Woodland, Amberley, angling.
So on your calendars, might start penciling in August opening ceremony for next August, 27, 28, 29.
A recurring meeting.
Yeah.
The goal will be, we're looking at, you got the ECC building, the community high, and the renovation of Morris Bridge. So we got a whole bunch more things to celebrate too as we go. We're just still working out the timeline for those 3 and how those work with our projects in terms of design team, how much, some assurances, I'm gonna mess up that word, but where we get the money from the bank in terms of paying for the projects and all that stuff. Make sure it all lines up perfectly so we don't have any hiccups along the way.
Good.
So 3 schools in 3 consecutive years.
Maybe more.
People are
Who
going.
knows? If you ask me, it's gonna be more than 3 in 3 years, but we gotta get there first.
That's exciting, and the people in the Amberley area will be thrilled, as will the people at Angling, so really good news.
So you'll see us back here in January, kind of talk a little bit more about site and everything then, as well as the planning to keep everything moving forward, because we do want to keep that pace going so we can do, you know, our goal is like a March approval of bid pack 1. We're going to break this up into series, but we'll talk more of that in January.
Other questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your work.
Next, we have Paula, and Johnny and I are sitting here kind of telepathically wondering who introduces her, and I guess.
Yeah, I'll do it. Paula Johnson will handle our financial update, and then I'll come behind her with the 90-day report for the superintendent.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Ed and Superintendent Edwards. Tonight, I will cover a few highlights from our October financial report for the 25-26 school year. This represents 4 months already of our operating year. There's not a lot to touch on, but I'll touch on a few things. You'll notice that federal revenue has a small variance from last year, and if you recall, I mentioned that we were going to draw down on federal funds before the government shut down. So we were able to draw down a small amount in regards to those federal programs. Local payments from other districts is up slightly compared to last year, and that is due to payments from KRESA for the enhancement millage and the special education payments that we receive. Those both came in higher this year than last year. Moving down into expenditures, operations and maintenance does show higher than last year. And I just want to bring it to the board's attention that what rolls up in this categorical is also some 31AA money that we wanted to make sure we had spent by September 30th so we wouldn't lose the funds. And that has not been incorporated yet into the overall budget. It'll get incorporated in the February budget amendment. So those expenditures look skewed compared to last year. Just briefly touch on childcare services. That does appear to be higher than last year, but the overall budget in the 25-26 school year is substantially less than last year. So you have to take into consideration the amount of budget in each year. So don't just automatically focus in on the 40% of budget that's been spent in that category. On the second page of the report by object code, I just want to touch on the supply number for this school year is less than last school year, and that's because we were spending ESSER money last year before it all expired, and so we were buying Chromebooks and great things for the students that were approved underneath those grant guidelines. So last year we spent a lot of ESSER money. And then capital outlay appears to be skewed to a large percentage, but that's the 31AA secure entryway and items that we were able to charge off related to the new elementary schools. I will incorporate that into the February budget amendment as well. So don't be alarmed by that. Just want to cover just really quickly a general update for the board. Our October count numbers were finalized last week Wednesday, and our overall FTE for the October count came in at 8,536.87 students. Keep in mind that that count represents 90% of our blended enrollment, and 10% from the previous February count rolls up and blends in together to that number that we put into the preliminary budget that you adopted at the end of June. I'm happy to report that I came really close In the preliminary budget, we budgeted 8,541.37 FTE, and we will be blended at 8,539.6 FTE, so that's just under 2 FTE variance. That'll fluctuate a little bit for Section 25 adjustments between now and the February count date. It could go up from there, or it could go down from there, but I will know probably by March what our overall final number is for enrollment. So just to give the board an update, from fall to fall change, so fall of 2024 compared to fall of 2025, we're down 57.58 FTE. So, any questions?
I'm not. Any others?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. For tonight's 90-day report, Board, you have a copy of the presentation at your tables, and I want to just stand up so I can follow my slides and my presentation simultaneously. Thank you, Vice President Mo Snyder, and members of the Portage Public Schools Board of Education. Tonight is a presentation about my first 90 days in the school district. It's been a great experience as a new superintendent. I could not have asked for a better start. Shortly after the 4th of July, I published my 90-day entry plan. The plan was posted on the school district's website, and we released a video introducing me to the public. A brief overview of the 90-day entry plan was incorporated in the video. Today, I want to provide an update to the board and the community about the 90-day plan. There are 4 broad areas that I want to discuss tonight. 1, my focus areas and goals. 2, listening and learning. 3, share and build. And then finally, analyze, report, and plan. There are 5 focus areas that are inside of the 90-day plan. The first of which is the board of Education Superintendent Relations. Secondly, student success. 3rd, people and culture. 4th, service excellence. And then finally, stewardship. Those focus areas 2 through 5 align with 4 pillars within our strategic commitments. For each of the 5 focus areas, I developed a goal. The goal for each of those 5 areas are listed on the screen. So now let's go to our next slide, please. Let's hone in a little bit on our listen and learn. This portion, the purpose of the listening and learning sessions was to gather insights from the district from different stakeholders. I hosted a series of events to hear from all stakeholders in the Portage Public Schools. The goal was to engage our staff, our students, families, and community members in a conversation about our district's values, its strengths, our challenges, and our areas of opportunity to improve. Each entity will ask a different set of questions. I met individually with 29 administrators. This included the entire exec team, as well as other central office administrators, building principals, and also building level assistant principals. I also met with each of you and those who are absent as well, individually and collectively as a board and a superintendent. We had 2 board retreats. I held 4 listening and learn sessions for staff members. 2 were at the secondary level and 2 were at the elementary level. I held 6 listen and learn sessions for secondary students. I met during lunch at the 3 middle schools and the 3 high schools, including community high. With those 6 sessions, I met with over 235 students. This was quite fun for me. It took me back to my days as a building principal. And I can attest, students are not shy when you ask them about their opinions. But I created a safe environment for students which permitted them to share their honest opinions without fear of judgment. Along the lines of students, I am continuing the Superintendent Student Advisory Board. We've held 2 meetings thus far. That board is comprised of 21 students. The board is open to high school students at all 3 high schools. Because I do not have representation from community high school, I am planning to work with the principal to do some work during the school day, or whether that's during lunch or over a class period, to engage our students at Community High. I also held 2 listen and learn sessions for parents, caregivers, and community. Both sessions were held at the Senior Center. One was held during the day, the other was held in the evening to accommodate the working adult schedule. And finally, while I cannot meet with each individual employee in central office, I met with each department, 8 of which are listed on your screen. I apologize for the acronym. Next, I moved from listening and learning to sharing and building of the 90-day plan. The purpose was to share my leadership journey, my educational philosophies, and core values. The goal was to establish a trusting and positive relationship through communication and attendance at school and community events. First was my opening day message to staff. I shared my journey of a child in Saginaw to my path to superintendent. In the opening day session, my father was in attendance. I recognized him and shared stories of how my parents raised me. Also, I spoke about 4 significant educators in my life. My preschool teacher, Mrs. Nickelberry, whose picture is shown behind me on that slide. My 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Calhoun. And then I surprised our staff by bringing on stage my middle school and high school counselor, Mrs. Mack, as well as another mentor of mine, Mr. Pugh. The response from our staff was overwhelmingly positive. They had an opportunity to see me as an individual and not just a superintendent. I encouraged them to continue to be the same beacon of light for our students as my significant educators was to me. I also interviewed by the television news media 3 times. I was interviewed by the local newspaper 3 times. I held 2 bond informational nights to encourage our community to support our students. As you heard tonight, we passed the bond with great success, and we're ready to finish the job. I also wanted to ramp up our social media presence. We have over 10,000 followers on Facebook and other platforms. I have noticed how people watch more videos or reels, as they are often referred to. We have produced in-house with our communications teams 40 reels, and those videos have generated over 520,000 views. I am hopeful that we can cross 1 million before the school year is over. The reels is a new strategy, and we've received lots of positive feedback. Ironically, the top performing reel thus far is just a short clip of Portage Central's football team winning the regional finals last Friday. Since Friday, that clip has been viewed almost 48,000 times. We have also expanded our usage of LinkedIn. In the past, we only used LinkedIn for job postings. Now we're using LinkedIn in a similar way as we are with Facebook. We have increased our views by 200%. I've also been invited to speak to 4 organizations. I've spoken with the Lions Club in the evening, the Optimist Club for breakfast, the Rotary Club for lunch, and the Portage Northern PTO or Compass group. I explained to everyone that I would be willing to meet with any group at any time in any location. Then lastly, I created a new concept called the Superintendent Educator Circle. This is a voluntary group of educators from within the district who meet with me each month. The educators represent 2 from each school, and the group will meet with me throughout the school year. Just for fun, when combining the total number of years of educator experience in Portage Public Schools, that group comprised of 371 years of Portage Public Schools experience. When totaling their total number of years of experience in education, it comprises of 587 years. So there is a wealth of knowledge to have in one space each month. The last area of the 90-day report is to analyze, report, and plan. Here is where I analyze district data, survey results to report my findings tonight about our strengths and challenges for the community. I want to highlight 7 celebrations that came through overwhelmingly by our stakeholders, along with some opportunities for growth as well as next steps. Number 1, Outstanding educators. They are the heart of our school district. Portage Public Schools is defined by exceptional quality of educators across every stakeholder group, students, staff, and community members. The most consistent and passionate theme was clear. It is our people who make Portage Public Schools special. This theme was often mentioned first. Our teachers, administrators, peer educators, and support staff build relationships. They inspire and change lives. Students spoke about their teachers from elementary school that they still contact many years later. Staff members describe colleagues who support them both professionally and personally. Community members consistently praised our top-notch educators who truly care for every student. And there are some quotes from different entities on the screen. Next, number 2, collaborative culture. Teams working together for our students. Portage Public Schools excels because of a culture of collaboration and teamwork in our schools and departments. Educators support each other. They step up when needs arise and share responsibility for student success. Staff members describe being able to turn to one another in their buildings for help, working with colleagues who care about our professional and personal lives. This collaboration extends across grade levels, departments, and buildings, creating a network of support to support the students. Educators willingly problem solve together on a daily basis. When challenges arise, our educators face them together, knowing they are not alone in their commitment to do what's best for our students. Number 3, there is a value on academic excellence and preparing students for their future through rigorous course offerings and high-quality instruction. Portage Public Schools has earned a reputation for academic excellence through a commitment to rigorous, high-quality instruction. Our students recognize that they are receiving an education that prepares them for life after graduation. The district offers advanced placement and international baccalaureate programs in-house, providing access to college-level coursework. Community members consistently praise our academics, noting pride in our ratings on comparison websites. The culture of excellence is about setting high expectations for students and providing the support necessary for them to meet those expectations. Our reputation for preparing students reflect decades of a commitment to educational excellence. Number 4, student-centered support, caring for the whole child. Portage Public Schools has a commitment to student success that extends beyond grades and test scores. Our staff view students holistically. They address their physical, emotional, social, and academic needs. Students describe feeling safe psychologically and physically, and they know that their educators genuinely care about their success. Staff spoke about their commitment to ensuring students don't fall through the gaps, and working together to identify the need and meet the needs of the students. This is about recognizing that students learn best when they feel valued, supported, and safe. The relationships between staff and students create an environment where learning can flourish. Number 5, exceptional extracurricular opportunities. Portage Public Schools offer an extraordinary breadth and depth of opportunities for students to explore interests and develop talents. With over 30 varsity sports at each high school, students compete at the highest level, including a recent state championship in soccer and a state champion tennis player. Our fine arts program are equally impressive, with musicians and singers competing in state levels. Now, with that being said, we have 2 great productions that have just gone on in our schools. Our marching bands are also being recognized. We have theater productions, Alice by the Heart at Portage Central, Young Frankenstein at Portage Northern, both of which showcasing our students' talent. Visual arts programs, they provide space for creative expression, while the number of clubs we provide for students help our students belong. Students describe the various extracurricular choices and praise the ability to start new clubs around their interests with proper support. Portage provides the programs, facilities, coaching, and support to help students excel. From athletics to the arts, our district provides opportunities for students to thrive inside and outside the classroom. Number 6, modern facilities, investing in schools and athletic spaces. Portage Public Schools facility stands as a testament to our community's commitment to providing students with exceptional learning spaces. November 2025, voters approved the $132.4 million bond that enables the school district to continue building new elementary schools. The new elementary schools provide flexible learning spaces, collaborative areas, and designs to prioritize student engagement. Our facilities are the finest in Southwest Michigan. Students describe our high school campuses as feeling like a mini college campus. Our athletics facilities rival those of a small college, providing venues for our student athletes to compete at the highest level. This makes for a pleasant experience for our spectators, and we often host Michigan High School Athletic Association tournament competitions. Number 7, unwavering community support, true partnership in education. The strength of Portage Public Schools is the community support. Beyond the recent $132 million bond approval, our community has consistently demonstrated its commitment through the passage of an operational millage, building and site sinking fund millage, special education millage, and a career technical education millage. The schools have active PTOs who volunteer their time and raise additional funds. The booster clubs support the athletic and the arts program. Local businesses purchase advertisements to generate program revenue. Students spoke about the generosity of the community, and they recognize that their opportunity exists because of the adults in the schools and the adults in the community. Now, while we are proud of our celebrations, we also have room for growth. The first opportunity I want to share comes from our staff, and the second one comes from our students, and that's an enhanced support for student behavior. First, our educators are deeply committed to every student's success, and they recognize that some students have behavioral challenges. While our staff members demonstrate dedication to meeting these needs, they identify a gap between student behaviors that they are addressing and the support systems available to help them respond effectively. Teachers are asking for the additional support and training so that they can help students self-regulate and make positive choices. Second opportunity for growth. This is from our students. The strategic coordination to help them balance academics and extracurricular opportunities. One of the Portage Public Schools' greatest strengths, our extracurricular opportunities and rigorous academics, have created an unintended challenge for many students. Our students are ambitious and eager to excel in multiple areas, but they often mention that they struggle to balance demands of challenging coursework and participation in their sports, arts, clubs, and community activities. This balance may further include commitments to part-time jobs or even family responsibilities. The students wonder if there could be a systematic coordination among educators regarding the workload. Students express weeks of light homework followed by weeks that have tests and major assignments all due in the same week. With this strategic coordination, we can preserve the academic excellence and the rich extracurricular experiences that make Portage special. Finally, with that being said, here are 3 next steps for us as an organization. 1, comprehensive curriculum management audit. We will engage a third-party expert to conduct a comprehensive curriculum management audit. This independent evaluation will examine the design, delivery, and alignment across grade levels. The audit will assess whether our written, taught, and tested curriculum are aligned to maximize student achievement. The audit will provide recommendations to improve instructional practices to ensure we provide a guaranteed and viable curriculum. This effort demonstrates our commitment to continuous improvement. 2, the refreshing of our strategic commitments. Our strategic commitments have served as a foundation for the school district. I want to explore a refresh of the graphical representation to create a visual and narrative representation that is clear and actionable. While the content will remain the same, it is pertinent for the district to review multiple ways in which the graphic representation can be reflective of the voices and celebrations of our school district. 3rd and finally, exploring career pathways. While we celebrate our IB program and our AP offerings and students who attend CAMSI, we recognize that this represents one pathway to success. We have a responsibility to ensure that every student has access to pathways that align with their interests and goals. We need to work to develop a career pathway framework that provides clear early college exposure beginning in elementary school, progressing through middle school, and then high school. This includes elevating our career technical education program, particularly at the CCC, also dual enrollment opportunities, early middle college, and the Education for the Arts, or EFA. We will strengthen our advertisement, our marketing, recruitment, and communication to students and families to help them fully understand their options. So tonight, I just want to say thank you to the board and their confidence in me in leading our district in this next chapter. We have a lot to be proud of here, and there's still room for growth. So this concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions tonight.
Thank you. There's a lot there, and we've got to figure out how this can be given to the other four trustees in a better vehicle than them watching the YouTube. That's a good start, but this is a great presentation. Could I guess make an observation?
Yeah, before.
It's one of your first slides, and it was the one with the 5, like the Olympic ring,
Okay.
right? And so, well, there are many reasons to thank you for this, but one thing that you're helping us do is you're helping us as a board, as you talk about this, kind of think about our role and kind of how we can support, but also to kind of stretch and kind of help set the bar higher. And so when you showed this, I was crosswalking parts of our policies. And so the top middle circle of student success, so last winter, and Mary Lou and Mark had just joined the board, and we spent several retreats trying to articulate kind of how we measure that at a high level, not at an administrative level or in a classroom level, but at a higher, at a board level. And I think, and it was fun, it was painful, it was wordsmithing, it was polite quarreling with each other to try to get it right. And I think we've set some parameters to help stretch the district a bit. And then last month at our retreat, we talked more about service excellence and student engagement and parent engagement, and we began but got nowhere near finishing a discussion as to what are our expectations and how can we set them to stretch. And then, was it at just the last meeting where we saw a monitoring report on 2.2, which is treatment of staff? And then, so the similar board dialogue could occur as to, okay, what are our expectations and how can we set those to helpfully realistically stretch and get us to aspire to a higher level. And then stewardship, you can go a lot of different ways with that. One is financial, but we've got policies that we could talk about there too. So I'm suggesting to my two present trustees and any others who are watching us on the internet tonight that we've got some areas where we can get into our policies because we don't govern by spouting opinions from here. The board governs collectively through our policies and how we articulate those. And so anyway, I'm inspired and enthused by what you're saying, and you can kind of see some key leverage points where the board can help through a better articulation of our policies to help give some guidance and to maybe help us set the bar a little higher than it is. And so, and on that thing, I'll make one more comment, then I'll be quiet. But how did you frame it? You were quite diplomatic, as you are known to be. Opportunities for growth, which is great, and you could call them opportunities for improvement, but on the positive side, celebrating all the great things we have here, and supporting those, protecting those great things, and then over here where there are areas, legitimate areas, where we could do better, areas of critique and criticism. and looking at those in a positive way and kind of rolling up our sleeves, on some of those. So always look for and appreciate the balance on strengths and then opportunities over here, and it's managing the balance and always working on some of these. So I'm seeing that come through. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank you for that.
Thank you, Paul.
And I'd want to thank you too and your team, you guys, with passing that bond. You didn't take anything for granted. I sent you that email. I just really appreciated everyone putting that time in. I know traditionally Portage just passed those bonds about the numbers that they were, but everyone kind of went with it. And for you, all that time you've put in, hitting the ground running, all those listening sessions, everything. I mean, you had the pressure of the bond right there on day one. Plus you got the transition from your old job to Russ. Just, you've done a lot of good things, and I'm impressed, and I'm looking forward to the future. I really do like that educator circle thing. I thought that was a neat thing when you mentioned it, and to see that you talked more detail about it before. I just think that's a great way to keep in touch with each school and to kind of catch some of these issues that are coming up, before they catch fire. And I think that's an awesome thing to do. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I would sound like a broken record. So yeah, thank you very much, Johnny, for all the analysis that you're doing on all of this. And I was particularly tickled that you have the students number 2 on your opportunities for growth. You are a good listener, and I think people are feeling that, and that's great. I know, as a board, we certainly feel that way from the get-go. So, and you just are engaging all pieces of the puzzle here, and it's a lot. So as to what Bo said, I'm hoping that as a board, we're learning a lot. I think Mark's faster at it than I am, but how as a board we can, put those foundational board pieces in place that help support,
And doing that together too, everybody.
Yeah, and we do have board policies that address those key points, and so the exercise for us could be spending a little more time on those and sharpening those up, having discussions as to how we can better articulate our expectations and encourage, not resting a bit on our laurels. And a comment on what you're doing is so much listening, and one great thing about listening is when you're doing a lot of listening, it keeps you humble. Because you will hear where those opportunities are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and one other thing I wanted to add, I was talking with someone over the weekend, and they said what they really appreciated about everything that everybody said about the bond issue was that it was honest information out there. There was nothing hidden. This is why we're doing it. This is what happened. Blah blah blah. And the communication was great, but it was straightforward, and it hit people as, okay, you're telling me the truth, so I'm going to go with you.
I appreciate it. And I would be remiss. I need to recognize our entire exec team and all of those who played a role in some of this work behind the scenes. All of the beautiful things you saw for the bond presentation came out of our communications department with Michelle and Kayla, even helping with these slides tonight and some of the data points as well. So they've been along, the entire exec team has been along with me in the listening and in learning. Paula was a guest at our superintendent educator circle last month. Brad and Ann will be guests next month. So this is a collaborative team effort. I do understand as a superintendent, a lot falls on my plate, but we have an excellent team here. And we have a lot of great things to be proud of in our district. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Yes. All right, so that concludes reports for this evening. We can do our next section because it does not require action. We're going to have comments or communications. And first up, we have comments from citizens, and we have 2 signups tonight. I think I'm seeing them here. We know you, and so we have no others that have come in. Okay, good. And because we have people who we know, you know the rules, about 3 minutes, you've never talked about a student. Appreciate it. So our first speaker tonight is Bethany Metzger, who's going to speak to us about TBIS. Welcome.
I'm here before you today to address the epidemic facing our public school system, including the Portage Public School District. The way the discipline is handled has become a serious issue affecting all students' ability to feel safe and learn in the classroom. Children are causing issues in classrooms, but instead of addressing these problems and following through with consequences, the child is sent down to the office where they get to calm down by petting a dog and getting a snack. Those same students are then sent back to their classrooms where they continue to be disruptive and interfere with the rest of the students' abilities to learn. Teachers are tired of the office being a revolving door for these kids. Children are being allowed to be aggressive and threatening towards staff and students, forcing classmates and teachers to function daily in environments that feel unsafe. Children should never have to worry or be fearful of other students in their classrooms. They should be able to trust that the adults around them will ensure their safety and well-being in school. Likewise, teachers are frustrated with the lack of support and are being forced to deal with many issues on their own while trying to teach 20 other children. How is this appropriate learning environment for other students or for the teacher in that classroom? Kids are being taught that if they act out, that they get special treatment. Children who may not have been a problem are causing problems because they want to go pet the dog and get a snack and not have to be in class. How is it fair to penalize the 20 or more other students in a classroom and disrupt their learning because teachers are having to constantly stop to deal with one child causing problems? Many students are also upset about these disruptive behaviors. I know of several that have expressed their frustration over teachers being unable to teach lessons because other classmates are being so disruptive and disrespectful. They are frustrated that they are not actually learning things and that they are not being challenged in their learning. Several have asked their parents if they can be homeschooled so that they can actually learn. They have also shared that when other students observe their disruptive behavior and lack of consequences, they join in, significantly compounding the problem. As every teacher knows, education begins with classroom management. When a classroom is out of control, the student's ability to learn is strongly compromised. When a problem is addressed and a child receives appropriate consequences, the teachers are able to teach their students, and the students are actually learning the materials. Likewise, other students learn that this behavior is unacceptable, leading to a decrease in the classroom issues and an increase in every student's ability to learn. School is here to equip these students with skills and knowledge that they need to know to be successful adults one day. If we aren't teaching them that there are consequences for their choices, we are setting them up for failure. Let's actually live up to our motto, every student, every future. Thank you.
Bethany, thank you for addressing us tonight. Our next speaker is Lindsay Zerber. Welcome.
Thank you. Whoops. I am here tonight to talk about the unnecessary use of sexual materials in a Spanish classroom. Several weeks ago, my 8th grader came home from school and shared with us that he'd been working on an assignment where he had to listen to a song in Spanish and fill in a section of missing lyrics. While this is a common tactic used in the study of world languages, the choice of artist most certainly was not. He shared that for this activity, they used a song from the artist Bad Bunny. As we do not listen to this music in our home, we looked up his songs and found the same themes of sexualizing women, talking about being with many different women, inappropriate language, and more immoral ideology. We looked up the specific song he stated they used and found the following lyrics. How you kissed me, how I did it to you, the way you looked at me, it made me horny. The new girl's good at going down, but it's not your lips. And let's do it again like last night. I reached out to the principal asking how it is remotely appropriate for a school to use this artist when his music is riddled with sex and profanity, especially when there are many Spanish songs with clean content that can practice the same skills. She responded by stating that many language teachers in the district use this program, that they restrict the site to use only G and PG rated songs, and that the students are not being asked to translate the lyrics, but simply to fill in the missing phrase. She went on to say that the goal of the assignment was not to focus on the song themes or messages. I pointed out that the entire purpose of studying a language is to understand it. In order to find the correct phrase to fill in the blank, students have to know what the phrase says. Therefore, how can it be said that they are not understanding the lyrics? If that is true, then they are simply guessing, and the assignment has no educational value at all. Also, whether a program deems the song acceptable or not does not change my opinion that we should not be exposing students to lyrics referencing being horny and going down on someone. Computer programs do not have discernment the way human beings do, and to rely on them to determine what is and is not appropriate is an egregious error. If we wanted a computer teaching our child, we would not be sending him to school. Whether or not the goal is to have students connect to an artist, song, or themes does not change the fact that by exposing them, they may do just that. I've heard the same erroneous argument made by this district many times before. Finally, if many world language teachers are using this program in this way, perhaps it is time to reevaluate, as I find it hard to believe that other parents would support this content being used if it was widely known. There are more than enough songs with lyrics devoid of sexual content that can be used to accomplish these same goals, as we firmly believe content with sexually deviant behavior has no place in a classroom. If this program has a multitude of songs and artists in its database, it should not be difficult to have readily available songs with lyrics above reproach. I firmly reiterated my desire that my child no longer participate in this. 2 weeks have now passed with no response or acknowledgement of my preferences for my child. For a district that claims to value parents, this sends the message that you only value parental input that agrees with you. Once again, when challenged, the district closes ranks rather than invites conversation and compromise. It's time to find a way to work together for the best interests of our children.
Lindsay, thank you for addressing us. Next, we will move to comments from board trustees. And I can still say that with plural, although the numbers are getting a little sparse tonight. Any comments from my colleagues tonight?
Just a plug for Portage Northern's Young Frankenstein. I laughed a lot. And it was really a great show. So if you get a chance, they have 3 more shows this weekend.
Yeah.
Already said my piece.
Yeah. I kind of lose track with the flow, but the Portage Central football team keeps doing its thing and is in the semis this weekend, so kudos for them. Reflecting on the bond, and yes, that's occurred since our last meeting. Yeah, we've started this. I just want to thank the community. There, I believe, 3 other communities in this area whose school bonds did not pass. So this is, it puts things in context, and really appreciate the support of this community. And then, Russ, the presentation here gets us excited about what lies ahead and what those funds will go to do. So, yeah, my appreciation to the community and everybody involved here. So next on the agenda is the consent agenda. We are prohibited from doing the consent agenda tonight. That requires board action, so we will not do it. That is followed at item number 8, required action items, the summer tax resolution. We are prohibited from taking that action tonight. Followed by number 9, action items, setting the superintendent mid-year progress report. I think Randy just wanted to get our agreement on a date. The date proposed would be before our meeting on December 8, and I suspect Randy will make that decision on behalf of the board and let us know about that. And then there were some administrative handbook changes. Cannot take action on those tonight. And that brings us to item number 10, which is a discussion item. We can hear from this, which is the purchase of box truck for food service. And we have Russ.
Good evening again. I'd like to make a recommendation that the Board of Education purchase a new food service truck. This is the box truck that the district uses to bring food around the district, the various other items. That we're looking at, we went out to bid about 2 months ago, received 3 bids, kind of worked with the 3 companies that provided those bids to figure out the best solution for the district. And we would like to recommend going out for a 2026 Ecoline F450 with box truck and liftgate from Bob Maxey Ford in Detroit, Michigan, for a total of $74,900. And the funds for this would come from the lunch fund excessive fund balance. The reason we're replacing the old one's old. It breaks down a lot. It's getting costly to maintain. It's time. We're trying to get through. We would have asked you to move this to an action item tonight, but we know we can't do that. So we'll come back, hopefully get it approved at the December 8th meeting. But just know this is definitely a need for the food service department as their truck is on its last leg. Is there any questions I can answer for that one? I will say that if you look at the bid tabs and look at the what we're recommending, the bid tab, their low bid was for an F350, but when you start looking at everything to go up to the F450 made financial sense, just to get a little more oomph behind the truck. And you're not talking a big price increase to go from the 350 to the 450.
Getting everybody fed is important.
Yes. Food around the district is a need. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No questions for Russ? Thank you. So that brings us to the close of our items. I mean, what I would say before we adjourn is, so next scheduled meeting is December 8th. That is the way the calendar falls, that's 3 weeks. So I will defer to board chair and superintendent to figure out whether we can wait until December 8th to deal with some of these items, or if we have to have a special meeting to get approvals on some or all of these items before then. So I'll leave that to Randy's and your discretion. If there's nothing else to come before the board?
I'd like to say thank you to you for being Randy tonight.
Oh, pinch hitting. Sure. Hey, it's a pleasure. It's kind of fun. All right, everybody, thank you. We're adjourned. Hey.
All right.
Oh, let's see.
No, thank you.
No,
it's good. It's good. It's good.
Preparing for a
I don't even know what hand it is.
Someone's like, no.